we were going to discuss about the project, because we talked yesterday. We have more open conversation with different members, from different approaches, and from political science, from psychology, from sociology. And I think it was good to hear, because we can hear each other and we can understand which point we stand. So today we are making more specific. We also have two very interesting presenters, as Professor Dr. Andrei Hirnik, but on 11:35. But the most discussion we have about the concept of psychosynthesis. This with my colleague, Dr. Yegor Kucherenko from Kiev, from Pereyaslav-Khmelnytsky University. Dr. Kucherenko also teaches at Medical University, Bogomolets Medical University, with his very rich experience, his rich practical experience, because as the scientist, as I'm scientist of social sciences, most of my research is connected more to the theoretical part. And it's great, because I think from theory we can learn a lot of things, because the things that research that being done, analytic research and empiric research, so we can learn, we can understand a lot of things. But from the practical point, it's very great to hear those people who in everyday life, we can say in everyday life, they touch to the issue, probably the issue of conflict and of reconciliation. I have said in the first meeting that we didn't discuss about the topic of conflict, of Russian-Ukrainian conflict, because we believe that some political conflicts it's deal with people with politics, and from time to time people have a lot of benefits from this, and we don't want to have benefits. We want to have results, and we want to have understanding. And I think at the first day we have such understanding that the people were really direct and open to dialogue, and I was very surprised about that. So please, Yegor.
Okay. Good morning. Hello. At first, I would like to introduce our Department of Psychology, my colleges. It's who is in our online. Okay. Today we want to discuss about the experience of psychological help of the combatants, of the families, and Oksana Rudenko, she is PhD, and she's a psychotherapist in the military hospital. It's very hard to work, and as you see, we can speak about the tools which can improve this practice. Then Leonid Nikolaev, maybe we can see him.
He's here, but
okay.
Yes.
And Zoya Gurina.
Okay.
Unfortunately, today we plan to speak with our head of Department of Psychology, the Professor Galina Homich, but that night she lost native person, and I think that we can start. Maybe I can say some words about her experience if we have a time.
Yes, I think would be it would be great, because we and the 11:35 we begin with the Professor Andrei.
Okay.
So we can have a presentation, and yes. So
okay, we know about him. He is our friend, and maybe my report we can to make it first. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If we have some problems with my English, I think that you can help me to translate, okay?
Of course. If you,
Thank you.
Till now,
Okay.
I'm feeling that I have problems with English.
I know it. Okay. I want to say some words about Galina Homic. She works with different clients during last 30 or 40 years. It's one of the first psychologists which make her practice in different spheres, in different areas. At first, it's oncology. She has a great experience with this helpful profession. It's medical practice, but we know that psychological сопровождение, support, but psychological support is one of the main main part of this work. In the first year of the Russian-Ukrainian war, all our colleges and Galina Homic began to helpful practice. It was very hard, and she said that the main problems with the combatants when they came back home is that they have no home, because their home is the war, is the territory where is our conflict.
You mean inside experience, inside people who inside himself?
Yes.
Probably
yes.
the home that he's seeking, and the home, the society, and the place he feels comfortable, not physically, just mentally. And
yes.
Because we have discussed about this topics, yes. And the person who's coming to society, he feels just that he is home as somewhere else, and he just keeping fighting on this period of time, where is he back to? Yes, okay.
She works in different approaches, and the main is the method of existential psychotherapy. And the main thoughts about its method is that each of us want to be free, and the combatants sometimes feel such a psychological death, because their life after the war is very painful, very hard, and they don't know what they have to do. Maybe I can say about my experience. I speak with one of my friend, and he said that he is no a father, he is no husband, he is only a voin.
Fighting.
Yes. And as a fighter, he dreams of war. He feels that he lives only in these conditions. The problem of the death and the problem of the will is one of the main problem of existential approach. That is why we have to speak about the sense of the life, the sense of the death in philosophical context. Yes. Maybe she would like to say more, but she's a professional psychologist which considerate all her efforts to make this help more better, to make it more like a system. And one of the methods which I was to introduce for you, I see that our friend Kenneth Sorensen in online, and yesterday he said about the psychosynthesis. And I think that it would be one of the main methodology, which can consist a lot of different methods. And today I want to say about with my presentation, can you мне нужно разрешение на эту демонстрацию.
Okay, yes, we are doing
Okay.
it. 1 second.
I would like to...
Multiple participants? Yes. Okay. Yes, now it's open, so you can try.
Yes, okay. Thank you. I would like to tell about the personality in search of reconciliation with oneself. We have talked today about this. And methodology of psychosynthesis in psychological assistance to victims. At first, you can see my slide?
Yes, yes, great.
Okay. As you know, Roberto Seggioli is the founder, the father of psychosynthesis, and now you can read his thoughts about it.
Yes, we can read it. War is the result of innate human
instincts,
and reconciliation is a psychological problem. It is solved by changing the attitude to this instinct and its sublimation.
This is a long process, and that can be achieved through the development of education. This is the main thought about the education, because if the war is result of our inner instinct, we can only to change our attitude. And I think that it's the main principle of psychological practice. Then it's very important and urgent application of the use of the will is that concerning the great issue of peace and war. In my view, no amount of political agreements and treaties of the external manipulation can be itself induced a lasting peace. Я переведу для своих коллег, речь идет о том, что никакие политические союзы и договоренности не могут решить проблему. Очень интересная мысль. Many such political agreements and treaties have proved fertile. As it started so aptly in the preamble to the Constitution of UNESCO, since war begins in the minds of men, in our minds, as you see. It's the minds of men mean that the defenses of peace must be constructed. The effective means to change means inner attitude, both individual and collective, is the contrast application of good will. It would have the effect of magic wand. The main work of Roberto Seggioli, as you know, is the act of will. That is why we can speak about the political will, but the personal will and the transpersonal will is one of the main concept of this approach. And then peace is wisdom. There is no peace in foolishness. Peace is strength. There is no peace in weakness. Peace is freedom. There is no peace in slavery. Yet the slave's life can appear extremely peaceful and free from any worry. To be managed and directed by others, not possession and individual will. Never setting himself against anything, not refusing anything. Can appear to be the way to peace, but it's not, but it's the peace of death. Okay. Who are the victims in the conflict in Ukraine? We usually speak about the combatants, but the victims are the internally displaced person. We speak about them yesterday. The civilians in the occupied territories. The civilians of all Ukraine, every child, every family, and Ukrainian people. After the beginning of the war, we all are the victims of these conflicts in our mind, in our behavior, in our values. The main problem of the conflict in a conflict is a conflict between conscious and unconscious. Such opportunities, polarizations of our personality, we can see that victim is in the conscience of people. The real conflict is between these two parts of our of our life. Ну, Бенjamin, переведи мне, что вот эти позиции могут меняться местами из сознательного в бессознательное.
Okay, but this position can be exchanged. They can change from one to other, because unconscious maybe become conscious and the conscious to unconscious.
Yes.
So we found this, yes, может быть, привести с истории, то есть как, например, с религией борьба.
Yes.
So this is from history, for instance, from history of the area of Russia and Ukraine, we can see those parts are coming in the revolutions and revolt against church, for instance, and how people thought the church, they represented the change in the revolution and they destroyed this unit. And we see this conscious and unconscious can change roles, and thus we can see also in Ukraine that people, that this was a peaceful country, I think since World War II, and we now see very bloody conflict, and we see some unconscious part of human being that appears here. It's not just only politics, but some need of human beings or some conscious understanding. I think this is important. I think of Carl Gustav Jung, when he said in his practice, when he was dreaming about blood, and it happened before World War I, First World War. So it can be also be described as these changes, these exchanges, sometimes not good exchanges.
You can see that for example, we have in our conscious the desire to defeat the enemy, and as Mr. Sorensen said yesterday, we have to be готовы.
Ready.
We have to be ready to fight. We have to be ready, be active. Our peace is active, but if we have a desire to defeat the enemy, our unconscious said us that it's desire to forgive our enemy. And our person, it consists of these opportunities, desires, as for example. Then we can see with in our work with different persons, even with people who is never were in the war, who live, works, and love, who in our peaceful place there. They want to achieve social and historical justice, but in our unconscious we have injustice in individual acts. We make some acts like самообман.
Yeah, self and people cheats itself.
Yes.
So lie to itself. But I think it's Nietzsche said about this. The most,
yes.
Professional lies that one person lies to himself. I think it was the best that after this psychologist used it, and yes.
As you know, we have a great expectation of political responsibility and will. It's our main problem. It's the result of our Soviet historical наследие, да?
Yes, history.
And then we have lack of expectation of will from yourself and our irresponsibility.
That's a very good understanding, because when I was in Ukraine and I asked my mother why why the neighborhood, why they don't repair, for instance, the entrance to the house because it's very dirty. You say, no one will do it. And then ask why, because we wait the government do it, but they think that maybe government will not do it. And this kind of, yes, it's an expectation maybe.
Mistrust and criticism of the authorities. It's the main problem of our culture, the main problem of our mind, our national mind. As you know, Ukrainian is very suggestive people. There are different nations, and in such classification, it's one of psychological classification in ecology, psychology. As you see, our nation is very suggestive, and suggestibility to manipulation by the authorities is one of the problem. We can hear that our people criticize the authorities, and at that time they trust them. And in our countries, conflict can be only resolved by war. We think that war is one of the main direction in our activity, and we must fight. But we have a great group of people who think that war is a way to resolve personal conflicts. Many people want to fight because it's a possibility to manifestation their personality, to be needing. And a lot of people, I think that Oksana Vladimirovna can say about it, that я хочу сказать о том, что многие люди уходят на войну, потому что не решили свои проблемы дома. And such a way, the war is как бы способ.
Method.
Is the method to resolve personal conflict in their family, their child traumatic experience. And I think that every person have to do their professional work, and to be the fighter, it's not for all. Okay. And psychosynthesis can help us to make this synthesis of opportunities. He helps us overcome the polarities of the conscious and unconscious. As you see, for example, desire to forgive the enemy may be like in conscious and unconscious. But if we как это, соединим или unite, if we unite this desire of, if we can to трансформировать, transform them with their energy.
Синергия, ты имеешь в виду, синергия.
Да, разные способы, different methods. Sergio said about 5 or 6 different methods in his good article, Balance and Synthesis of Opportunities, as you know. And we have a dialogue with enemy, with inner enemy at first, and a compromise would be one of the main goal to solve the inner conflict and the external conflict. As you know, psychosynthesis does not refuse psychoanalysis, because due to psychoanalysis we can know about this desire, we can как это осознать?
To understand.
To understand them, yes. And then we with psychosynthesis, it's a continuation of psychoanalysis, And we have the aim to develop and harmonizing personality with these opportunities. For example, you can see different opportunities and like a variation variance in the synthesis of polarities. Desire to achieve social and historical justice, justice in individual acts. It may be like the desire to think morally about yourself and understand the reasons of immortality of others. It's very, maybe it's very hard, but with our intellectual, with our experience, we can make it the synthesis. Expectation of political responsibility and will, and lack of expectation of will from yourself, irresponsibility. When we unite or transform these desires, these opportunities, we have responsibility for one's own. For example, professional activities, and a conscious choice of action. I have my conflict, but I'm not my conflict, yes? Mistrust and criticisms of the authorities and suggestibility to manipulation by the authorities. It's a balance of criticism and trust. If we have a lot of criticism or a lot of trust, we have a problem. And balance between it can give us independence of actions from political decisions. Independence from political decisions. Conflict can be only resolved by war, and war is a way to resolve personal conflicts. We have peace inside a person is the first step in a peaceful solution, the conflict extreme. And we have said about it yesterday. Okay. In psychosynthesis approach, every person is consist of different subpersonalities. And for example, we see the subpersonalities of competence. Subpersonalities, subpersonality is like mini personality with their desire, with their thoughts, with their actions. And they can be in conflicts or in very peaceful attitudes. Our combatant can be husband, father, son, but at first, after the war, he is only a variety. He lost his self, his observer, and as you can see, the personality of Vera and friend can unite, because my friends is only my friend's competence. The great problem is that we lost ourselves. If I, for example, as for me, if I want to be a good father or a good husband, it will be a great problem, because I am a father, but I'm more than a father, more than a husband. As we know, we have sometimes examples when people all their life live like a child, like a son or a daughter, and we have to disidentify our personalities to transform them then. The subpersonality is of Vera is one of a great problem, and we work with our efforts are directed to make our clients more conscious, осознанный.
Yes, thanks.
Yes. To feel their self like a center of their personality. And as you see, all the personalities can be controlled. controlled by the self. We think that our self can как это, принимать, любить, accept every personalities. In such a way, we have a harmonizing and very maybe you can see that it's very ideal, but such a way we have this stage of psychosynthesis, of course, after psychological rehabilitation. We don't speak that psychosynthesis in its full methodology can be helpful in the first time after war, because it's very hard. People don't want to speak. People feel depression. People want to drink. People want to fight. And we have a great, we have a lot of scientific books and the results of practice of our colleges when we see how to do psychological rehabilitation. But then we want to help our personalities, our clients, to live a new life, to be socialized in our society. Galina Homich said that socialization is the main задача.
Task.
The main task in our helpful work. At first, it's awareness and identification with the various subpersonality. 3 years ago, I have reported with volunteers and with medical personnel, with psychological colleges, that we have to make dialogue between the self and the subpersonality of wearer. It's very hard, but it gives our inner transformation, and then we can transformation and regulation of the subpersonality into a peaceful life, because it has a great sila.
Power. Force.
Yes, a great power.
Можна попросити вас вже закінчити, я?
Добренько завершую.
Да, будь ласка.
Дякую. Then the development of new personality traits, will training, and the integration of various subpersonality with other subpersonalities in the integral personality. As you see, psychosynthesis is an integral change only under the condition of a change in external activity. This is why socialization of competence is very important in this process. Okay. That's all. Maybe some have questions.
Okay, thank you very much. For first of all, it was I think it was very interesting discussion that touched to the core of rehabilitation of participants maybe in conflict, or people who survive this conflict and need to find a solution. Because the solution, it's one problematic way to come back after the conflict and understand the life and how we connect to the things together. Please, friends.
Пане Андрію, доброго дня.